brakes. Stop, 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 stop. I did it again, ladies and gentlemen. Too much talking and not enough concentration. I think at this point the passengers would be happy that I've still got my train on the rails. Every single bump in the rails is simulated, the joins in the track I should say. You can hear that, going clunk clunk. We're increasing speed now, and almost time to shift into fourth gear. So off the throttle, into fourth, and back on the throttle again. Welcome back everybody. Something a little bit different today. Diesel Railcar Simulator. This is the first time I have covered this game or this simulation. It was released quite a few years ago now, 2 to 3 years I think. I found this on Steam a little while ago, but I didn't pick it up until recently, so I thought I would give this a crack today. I've downloaded quite a few different workshop mods for the simulation. So what we'll do is we'll get started. I'm going to pick the Westfords line and choose the rural down 7 timetable here, which starts us off at around 5:43 in the evening. So this is a 17-minute run using the class 122. So in this simulation, as you've probably already guessed, you get to drive a rail car. Now these rail cars are generally fitted with diesel engines, and they are, I guess, completely mechanical. So the diesel engine actually drives a gearbox through a fluid coupling in most cases, and you have a multi-gear gearbox, and you basically change gears as you drive your rail car. So there's quite a few of these different types of rail cars in the simulation. Just to quickly show you the class 37. Now this is a diesel electric, so this works a little bit differently, but the class 112 for example is another one, which is a mechanical gearbox rail car, and it makes it quite fun to drive. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and choose our timetable. So rural down 7, and this is the class 122 British rail car. So maximum speed is about 70 miles an hour. You can see there the mass is 36 tons. So we're just going to be driving one of these today, and we've got a short little passenger route that we'll be doing. Not a bad little route this one as well, going through the rural section of it anyway. So yes, let's click on drive, and the simulation loads nice and fast. There we go. Alrighty, so this is still an early access title, I should mention. It's available on Steam, and it's quite realistic. So let's just take a quick first look at this. In this episode, I guess, or in this video for now, I'll decide if I'm going to do any more videos on this, I guess. Do let me know in the comments if you like what you see so far. But let's go ahead and have a look around. So you can get up out of your seat and you can walk around the cab. There's no point click interface in the cabin, so you can't click on things to initiate them, unfortunately. Everything is just done using the keyboard, so that's a bit unfortunate, but not the end of the world by any means. So this is obviously the cab here. Let's pop outside for a bit. Okay, and we'll just adjust the camera here, and we can see it's actually time to go, so probably not going to make the timetable today, but here's our diesel rail car. You can see the diesel engine down here. There's actually two, one on the left side, one on the right side, and you've got your shafts here which drive the wheels, the bogies, and turn the wheels. and there's no need for any electric rail lines or anything like that, or electric wires or cables. It's all self-sufficient. Alright, now in the game obviously it shows you down here a whole bunch of little up arrow kind of tutorials, which I've left on for the moment. On the left hand side you've got some metrics as well, such as engine RPM, speed, grade, your gear, your brake situation, and then on the bottom right you've got your timetable information. So it's time to go, I believe. Anyway, let's the way I do this is I've remapped my keys. So in order to turn on the master switch, press M. That turns on the electrics. Pardon me. Apologies guys, I got a little bit of a cold. Don't worry, nothing to worry about. But yeah, hopefully my voice is coming through okay on this video. So what we do here is we set the reverser to forward as well. Now we do need to start the diesel engines as well. So up here on the left hand side you've got your left hand and right hand engine indications, and you obviously there's no buttons to press here in the cab to actually start them. You just need to turn them on using the keyboard. So O will turn on the right hand engine. Okay, now you can drive with just one engine instead of two, but you'll notice that the performance is greatly degraded. Now, just a quick overview of the dash panel here. We've got the speedometer on the far left. We've got the tachometer, which shows the engine RPM seconds from the left. That only shows the left-hand engine. So if I start the left-hand engine, you'll see that burst into life. Okay. You've got your brake indication third from the left, and then finally you've got another, looks like another brake gauge there as well. Generally don't use that one, generally just use this third one here from the left, and obviously the speed and the tachometer. The tachometer as well has a yellow indication which shows the power band, I guess you could say, or the operating band of the engine. So as you drive along, try and keep the indication within this yellow zone. Shift up before you go past, what is that, about 1700 RPM or so, and obviously shift down before you get too far below about 1100 RPM. So anyway, we'll get this thing going. Pardon me. So obviously what you have here beside your reverser is your gear selector. So it's in neutral now. We can put it into first gear, and that will get us going once we release the brake. So we'll go ahead and release the brake. Now you can see our brake train pipe is releasing. So the left hand needle here is what we basically need to keep an eye on. In this position the brake is released and we are very slowly actually moving. So we'll just ring the horn and we will get going. So the vehicle is actually creeping in first gear right now with the engines idling because there is a fluid coupling which actually drives this train. So the diesel engine runs against the fluid coupling like an automatic gearbox. Goes through a set of 4 gears and drives the wheels. So there's no electric motors or anything like that. Alright, so we've already started moving. We've got a little bit of a downhill grade here, which is why the train is moving on its own, or the rail car at least. There's no train here today, there's only one carriage. Alright, so we'll just increase the RPM here. Oops, wrong one. First gear, increase RPM, so we're on idle here. So this is your throttle, I should say, on the left hand side. We're idling, let's move it into notch 1. One thing I forgot to do before was when you start the engines, you should start them in notch 2 as well, not in the idle position. My bad. Alright, so we're just cruising along here, and we are running very late, so we're not doing well today timetable wise, but hopefully we can recover that. So let's go open the throttle. Now in first gear it's going to wind out pretty fast, so then as you see here the RPMs are rising up. Give it a bit more throttle. and then reduce the throttle, and then what we do is shift into second. You can hear the whir of the gears. Give it a second or two, and then get back on the throttle. We'll give it full throttle again. And now we're going, if you look at the left hand side here, you can see the grade indication is gradually rising, so we're going up a hill right now. So your little rail car is struggling a little bit to gather speed, but it's time to change into third gear very shortly. So off the throttle, third, give it a second, and then back on the throttle. Now in that time, obviously, of changing your gears, your speed does reduce, and the game does a very good job of simulating physics, and you'll see that shortly here as we make our way around this curve. Every single bump in the rails is simulated, so the welds, the joins in the track, I should say. You can hear that going clunk clunk, and you can see the bumping of the suspension as it does that. There you go. So there's a few different views to be had. Obviously you've got your flyby view, as you call it, or your static camera view. We'll jump back inside now. Okay, so we're going up a pretty big hill here, but we've gotten... Okay, we're coming into a downhill section, so we're increasing speed now. And almost time to shift into fourth gear, as you can see there on the tachometer. So, off the throttle, into fourth, and back on the throttle again. And you can see the grades increase a little bit. It's going to struggle in fourth gear, but it's no problem. Down the hill now, so get off the throttle. We are running very late, ladies and gentlemen, because I spent a bit of time yammering on at the start there. Let's get off the throttle completely. We are doing almost 50 miles an hour, and you can see that on the left hand side as well. Now just a little bit more about this timetable indication on the bottom right here. You can see that your stations approaching are shown on the right hand side, and they gradually scroll across as you get closer. Your train is basically indicated on the very far left here of the panel, and we can see that the speed limit is currently 50 miles an hour. So we're doing okay, about 40 odd miles an hour at the moment. We're in top gear, and it's always good to keep it in fourth gear when coasting to reduce gearbox wear. Alright, so we should have arrived at Bramfield Green, our next station, at 17:48. It's currently 17:51, so running a little bit late. We'll give it a bit more throttle, just to keep the speed up. But we will have to start slowing down shortly. So this is obviously a workshop route, but there's quite a few different routes included in the workshop. By default the game comes with one or two, I believe, from memory, but I do like this region. It's a very lush scenery, so credit goes to the creator of this route. Alright, and I've obviously overshot the station, so I've done a terrible job here, ladies and gentlemen, yammering on as usual. So I should have stopped at the station, obviously haven't. So what we'll have to do now is back up, so I need to reverse this train because I've gone too far. So reverser into, okay, first you put it into neutral, reverser into reverse, release the brake, and put it into first gear, and apply the throttle. go too fast. And get ready on the brake. Now you can lap the brake as well, so okay, that'll do. And we just lap the brake, so it's about halfway applied. And doors open, or door opens. We've got one door here. And door closes. And time to go. So the passengers aren't really simulated in the game. It is obviously still a early access title. Alright, so acknowledge the whistle by pressing the buzzer. And what we should have done was obviously prepare the train for forward movement just now. We'll do that. There we go. Sound the horn. And away we go. Alright, so we're already late for the next station, Peppercampton. That's 17:53. It's already 17, almost 55. So we're not going to hang around. See if I can make back a bit of time here. Running up through the gears, I'm in second at the moment. And I must say, lovely simulation. However, there is no damage modelling as such. There's no derailments, I believe. And there's no consumables modelled either, so fuel and all that sort of stuff. You've basically just got unlimited fuel. Basically, the simulation at this point is more about keeping to the timetable and running the train in a comfortable manner. You are assessed at the end of your run with all sorts of stats and metrics to say if you were driving unsafe, how many red lights you went through and all that sort of thing, how often you exceeded the speed limit and whatnot. Alright, in third, we're about to wind right out of third and into top gear. Now you're supposed to wait at least 2 seconds, they say, when changing gears before applying the throttle again, because the gearbox takes a bit of time to change gears in reality. Alright, our speed limit is currently 40 and we're doing 44, so breaking the speed limit here. And we're going down a hill, so get on the brake just a little bit, lap the brake, back up to 50. Alright, so back on the throttle. We're still in fourth gear. Now our next station, Peppercampton, approaches and we are at least 3 minutes late. So let's see what we can do to improve our time here. And look at the suspension. So the physics modelling so far is really good in this simulation, and in my opinion it's kind of filling a niche of the market, a gap in the market I guess you could say. These kind of rail cars remind me of Microsoft Train Simulator. You had the Japanese, I believe, the Japanese rail car, which had 2 or 3 gears which you could change. I do remember playing that as quite a younger person, I guess. And this game reminds me of that simulation in a lot of respects, Microsoft Train Simulator, the classic simulator. Alright, let's get on the brake, because if I keep talking, I'm going to miss my stop once again, and we don't want to do that. So off the brake, off the accelerator, we're in fourth gear, and we're not slowing down quite as fast as I'd like. Actually, we're not doing too bad. Trying to lap the brakes. Stop, 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 stop. I did it again, ladies and gentlemen. I think on the next stop I'll get it perfect. Too much talking and not enough concentration. So let's fix that up once again. I think at this point the passengers would be happy that I'm even running the line and that I've still got my train on the rails. Brakes applied. Doors open. And wait for the whistle, and then we're off again. In this time, we can put it into neutral, change our reverser, and before you know it, it's time to go again. Release the brakes, acknowledge the buzzer, horns, and full throttle. Now, our last station is, I think, quite a distance away. We're already late as usual. Actually, it's probably not that far away, but we'll keep this thing going in third gear, full throttle, and get prepared, ready to shift into top gear, and back on the throttle. Now, there's no engine braking afforded by this transmission, so you'll notice that when you get off the throttle and you shift down, the engine tachometers do not change, or the tachometer does not change. You can feel, or you can hear the gear wind changing. So there is some semblance of change going on in the gearbox, but not affecting your engine. So your engine cannot be used to slow the rail car down, unfortunately. You are at the mercy of your brakes, and now that we are against the full sun there, the evening sun, you can see it light up the side of the rail car, and it's a beautiful sight indeed. Just trudging along here in a fourth gear. We could actually drop back to third, and I might do that. So off the throttle, back to third, give it a sec, and full throttle. See now, engine RPMs are in the yellow. Nice sound effects there of vibration and things like that as your engine RPMs increase. Back to fourth. And we're doing about 40 miles an hour, so about 10 miles an hour shy of the speed limit. Let's slow this thing down because we've got a 40 limit coming up. Okay. Now pay attention here because we've got a few red signals coming up, as you can see there. So let's prepare to slow down just in case. Now this first look video is just meant to be a bit of a taster to the simulation. So obviously not running against the tight timetable here. There'll be plenty of time for that later. I wanted to give you guys just a taste of how the simulation runs. So if you right click, you can see here that there's all sorts of different views that you can select. Helicopter, line side observer, get a bogey view. Okay, so what we're going to do here is just inch up to the station. We're in fourth gear, let's take it back to second. Give it a bit more throttle. We've got green signals ahead of us now, so we're all good. do more than about 25 miles an hour through these switches. Horn, and get ready on the brake. Definitely don't want to overshoot here, because there's nothing to overshoot into. Alrighty. And that's it. So this is the evaluation of our run, and you can see there that you've got all sorts of statistics: speed limit, the target, and obviously our speed, which is the grey one, mostly within limits. Unsafe driving 3 times, speed limit exceeded 13 times. Energy use 96%, so use slightly less energy than what was expected, so that's good. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. A little bit different, I know, this time. Diesel Railcar Simulator. Let me know what you think, and please like, comment, subscribe if you would like to see more content like this, or if you'd like to see more similar content even. Thanks for watching.